The following clips were all recorded at the same home. Different nights, different cameras, but the same creeping sense that something in this house isn't quite right. It starts subtly enough. The first piece of footage comes from a porch security camera at 11:11 at night, the kind of timestamp that already makes people uncomfortable. Watch. A bright circular shape, glowing, out of focus with that floating quality that sets it apart from a falling leaf or blowing debris, drifts downward from the top of the frame and moves toward the front door before disappearing entirely. Now, skeptics will point out immediately that orbs like this are extremely common on infrared security cameras, usually caused by dust particles or insects hovering close to the lens and catching the reflected light. That's the rational explanation, and it's a solid one. But in ancient folklore stretching back centuries, orbs of light were interpreted as something far more intentional, manifestations of spirits or energies serving as a bridge between our world and something beyond it. Whether this is a speck of dust or something more meaningful, what it does is set the tone for everything that follows. Something in this house seems to be making itself known. That same night, just after 11:43 p.m., the indoor Nest camera catches something with considerably less ambiguity. The living room is dark and quiet, small dogs restless in the background, when without warning, a loud crash erupts from somewhere off camera. Watch. The unseen object hits hard, the kind of crash that doesn't sound like something that simply fell, and within seconds, a woman rushes from the backyard across the patio, bursting through the door in pajamas, grabbing what looks like a fly swatter, calling out for her dog Mackenzie, her voice high and disoriented. She hadn't been inside when it happened. Nothing should have fallen. But something did, loudly and without explanation, in an empty room. A few nights later, at 3:10 in the morning, the same living room camera captures something even harder to dismiss. The woman is sitting on the gray sofa, a white circular tray resting in her lap, or on the coffee table in front of her, the TV murmuring in the background. Take a look.
Because my search is 6 and I won.
I gave you 6 points, I'm deducting 7. This is ridiculous.
Don't make me think about numbers again.
A brave and accurate decision.
Yes, I, Captain.
Yes.
Yeah, holy captain, your horticulture is harvestable.
Ah, good. Oh, thank you. Fine.
Hurry happily, and Hank is hungry.
Hollow hippo.
The tray flips out of her lap as she starts to stand. Unusual, but manageable. And then, after she picks it up and holds it in both hands, it is violently thrown sideways across the room toward the fireplace by something she clearly cannot see. She flinches back, hands still raised, visibly shaken. That's not a dropped object. That's not physics. The force and the horizontal trajectory make the mundane explanations fall apart quickly, and many viewers who've seen this clip describe it as one of the clearest examples they've encountered of something physically interacting with a person inside their own home. Then, it got worse. In what is arguably the most unsettling clip from this house, the woman is standing on the front porch late at night, talking on the phone, a completely ordinary conversation about food and laundry, when the front door behind her slams shut. Listen closely.
Hey, when are you coming over?
I gotta wait for my work clothes to dry. Then I'm coming.
Okay, I'm hungry.
I understand that. I can't just not leave without my work clothes.
Okay, that's fair. Well, do you want me to just make something here?
do you have?
I mean, like pizzas or maybe chicken nuggets, nothing crazy.
Do you have ranch at your house?
No, can you bring your lunch?
Pretty much.
Come on.
Dude, my door just closed.
So the slam's not
Yes. And it's locked.
what the fuck?
I just got locked out of my house.
Still in there?
Yes, nobody's here.
That's kind of scary. Where's the door?
Luna! Luna's inside by herself. I don't even see her in there. Look, look. Hang on.
Anything rash. Lady? Hello? Touched it.
She spins around immediately, tries the handle, and it won't open. She's locked out of her own house. She's panicking, telling the man on the phone that nobody's inside, calling out for her dog Luna, pacing the porch in visible distress. Then, the phone call drops, and from the interior camera, the locked door swings open on its own, unlocking and pushing inward with force, letting her back inside to a room that immediately fills with frantic barking and a loud, rapid electronic chiming sound that no one triggers. The sequence of events, door slamming, locking, then unlocking, isn't something that fits easily into any straightforward explanation. Drafts don't lock deadbolts. Glitches don't let you back in. For viewers who'd been following the activity in this home, this clip felt like confirmation that whatever they were dealing with wasn't passive. It was paying attention. And then came the night that made everything else feel like a prologue. She's in the bedroom with her two dogs, Luna and another large fluffy dog, and the dogs are restless in the way animals get when they sense something their owners can't yet locate. She moves the camera toward the window and presses it to the glass, looking out into the pitch black woods. Watch closely.
Luna, come here. Sit. Come here. Can't see.
Deep in the darkness, a small, solitary red light sits completely still among the tree trunks, not moving, not flickering, just hovering there while she watches it for over 30 seconds, whispering and swearing under her breath, her breathing growing heavier. Then she pulls the camera away from the window when she hears a groaning sound. The red light outside may never be explained. Stationary and isolated, it doesn't behave like any passing vehicle or animal. But the lamp turning itself on while her back was turned, in a room she never left, is what breaks the clip open. Whatever is happening in this house has moved through nearly every room. The porch, the living room, the front door, the bedroom, and each clip shows it getting closer to her, more direct, more willing to make itself felt. Where it goes from here is the part that keeps people up at night. The following clips were recorded inside a funeral home, a place where, according to the man filming, strange noises had already been happening for a while before he ever pointed a camera at anything. During the day, the showroom sits completely still, rows of coffins displayed on tiered racks beneath bright natural light flooding through a wall of large windows, the kind of space that's unsettling enough even when nothing moves. He insists the room was empty, and yet, according to him, things had already been shifting on their own. Watch.
Miren, como tenemos rato escuchando ruidos aquí en esta zona. Si vemos, pues está solo. Y creemos que pues hay algo aquí, porque pues se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren, miren, miren, miren, miren, miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, miren, miren, miren. Miren cómo se mueve. No hay nada. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Está mi compañero, pero pues si vemos estamos solos.
One of the dark wood coffins on the lower rack begins to rock rhythmically back and forth, wobbling in a steady, sustained motion with no one near it. He rushes over and opens the lid himself, white-lined, completely empty inside. He pans the camera to show the room, and the only other person visible is his companion, walking out from behind a partition in the background. Some viewers think the rhythmic, controlled nature of the shaking suggests something mechanical or a person out of frame, but others find it hard to explain given how openly he shows the empty interior immediately after. Either way, it wasn't enough to make them leave. That same night, they were back, and what happened next was a completely different kind of experience. Watch closely.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez, con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí. Igual pinche que se ve, que nada. Estoy solo a la chingada. Estoy solo. Chingada. Ah, la chingada. Ah, la no mames. Ah, la chingada.
He's alone in a narrow hallway at the back of the funeral home, scanning a storage room packed with rows of tall silver metal stands, candelabras and pedestals used for funeral services, standing upright in tight formation. Then, one of them suddenly crashes to the right, and before he can even react to that, the rest follow. A massive, violent wave of metal striking the floor all at once, the sound filling the entire hallway. The camera whips sideways as he screams in pure panic, and the clip just ends. What's harder to dismiss here isn't just the noise, but the sequence. One stand falls first, as if triggered, and then the rest come down seconds later with far more force than a single domino-style collapse would explain. Some believe what they captured across both clips points to an intelligent presence, something in that building that escalates when it feels watched. A funeral home that absorbs the energy of loss for years, many argue, becomes exactly the kind of place that holds on to something. And whatever was in that storage room clearly didn't want them there after dark. The following video was recorded on a quiet morning at just past 10 a.m., inside a home that its owner describes as anything but ordinary. A living room full of gothic decor, taxidermy, vintage furniture, and objects he says he's collected specifically from haunted places over the years. He'd woken up that morning with a feeling he couldn't shake, the kind that made him reach for a camera before he could fully explain why. The house was freezing despite a lit fire, and strange scratching sounds had been drifting in from the dining room. So he started filming, panning slowly around the room, and even asking out loud for whatever was there to make itself known. His cat was already acting strangely, pacing near the archway, looking back toward the dining table. Then something answered. Watch.
Okay folks, as you can see it's almost 20 past 10 in the morning. I've decided to start filming because I knew something wasn't right in this house this morning. I've got the fire on, as you can see there, and it's warm outside, but the house is freezing. And furthermore, there's constant, I don't know, scratchy type noises coming from the dining room. So I've got it out there, that's the car, on the off chance. If you're making noises in here, make yourself known. Do it now while I've got an actual camera out again. It's driving me absolutely wild, to be honest. Oh, it's cold. Can you do something to make your presence known? Oh. Oh, my TV's gone off. Right, okay. Ooh, there's a bit of an atmosphere, you know, guys. Cat's acting a bit weird as well. What's wrong? You okay? What? Right, thank you for doing that. Okay. Woo, I'm freaked out. Thank you. What is it you want? Why do you just randomly flare every now and then? The cat is going nuts at the bottom of the stairs. If you've just moved that chair, do something for me again. Can you hear that noise? Sophia, what are you doing? Whoa, what was that? What was that? What was that? What? Jesus. Okay, as many of you know that follow me for quite some time now, every so often I'll get a little flare of activity in this house. It is filled with objects I've collected from haunted places or that are said to be haunted. Whew, I'm a little bit shook up by that. It always starts with the cats as well, you know, they know when something's about to go on. Whoa, I don't know what to make of that. Look.
3 separate things happen in this clip, each one louder and more violent than the last. The TV switches off on its own the moment he asks for a sign. Then a dining chair slides sharply backward across the wooden floor with no one near it, and you can hear the scrape clearly as the cat bolts out of frame in the same instant. Then, a floor lamp and everything sitting on the side table next to the armchair gets thrown to the ground in one sudden crash. He's barely keeping the camera steady by the time it's over. What makes this so hard to dismiss is the layering of it. 3 distinct events, escalating in force, with the cat reacting before each one like it knew what was coming. He explains at the end that this is something that happens in what he calls flares, periods of intense activity that seem connected to the haunted objects he keeps in the house. If you follow cases involving cursed or spiritually charged objects, that framing fits a pattern that shows up often. The idea that certain items don't just carry a location's energy, but actively draw activity wherever they're brought. Paranormal researchers sometimes refer to this as object attachment, where the presence isn't tied to the building at all, but to whatever came in through the front door. The cats, he says, are always the first to know. And looking at how they move in this footage, it's difficult to argue with that. What do you think is living in that collection with him? In the following clip, a family's home security camera captures something they never expected involving their young son, who is autistic and extremely sensitive to changes in his environment. His parents explain that he's very routine-oriented and easily distressed by anything being out of place, especially at night. One night, while the entire household was asleep, they suddenly heard their son screaming in terror. Watch.
Mom, the elf got a man under the door. Elf,
Imagine waking up around 1 a.m. to your autistic son crying, insisting that the elf on the shelf had moved on its own. For those unfamiliar, Elf on the Shelf is a popular holiday tradition where parents move a small elf figurine around the house each night to make it appear as though it's watching children's behavior for Santa. The rule is simple: the elf only moves when no one is watching. But in this case, no one was touching it when it moved. What makes this more unsettling is that the child was genuinely terrified, not confused or playful. Some viewers believe the stress of the tradition itself can cause children, especially those with sensory sensitivities, to panic when something appears different. Others point out that Elf on the Shelf has long been tied to darker folklore, small watching figures, silent observers, and objects believed to invite unwanted attention into a home. A few even argue that objects meant to watch children, even symbolically, can create fear-based expectations that manifest in disturbing ways. Whether this was a misunderstanding, a moment of heightened fear, or something far more unsettling, one thing is certain: the family hasn't been able to look at that elf the same way since. But what do you think happened here? Now, this next clip is an update from a previous video about a family who went to check out an apartment they were considering renting. At first, everything seemed normal, until just minutes after stepping inside, an unidentified voice was suddenly heard whispering the word Jadis. At the time, many viewers believed it could have been interference, audio distortion, or even someone outside the apartment, but something about the voice didn't sit right. After that video gained attention, the woman went back through the footage she recorded inside the apartment, and that's when she noticed something else she completely missed before. Watch closely.
Oh my god.
Just like the previous video, another voice can be heard. This time, some people swear they hear it saying, "Don't buy," almost like a warning. Others hear what sounds like a young boy softly saying, "Hello, Mum," while a different group of viewers are convinced the voice is saying, "Grandpa." What makes this unsettling is how common whispers are in reports tied to supposedly empty homes. Paranormal researchers often say whispered voices are one of the earliest signs of a presence, especially in places with emotional residue, homes where someone may have lived, passed away, or never fully moved on. Unlike loud noises, whispers are believed to be intentional, subtle, and directed, meant to be heard by specific people rather than caught accidentally. The first clip left many viewers deeply concerned, questioning whether the family went through with renting the apartment. But later, she confirmed that they didn't. And judging by what was captured on camera, many believe that decision may have spared them from something far more unsettling, whether the voices were warning them away or trying to make contact. This apartment clearly isn't as empty as it appears. In this next video, a woman who's been experiencing strange activity in her home finally manages to capture something on camera. For a while now, she's claimed to see dark figures appearing briefly in different parts of the house, always just out of full view, always gone the moment she looks directly at them. One evening, while she was home alone, she stepped out of her bathroom and noticed something unusual. Watch closely.
I hear a woman humming. What the hell? Hold on. Where is that coming from? Look, Xavier hears it too. Hold on. You heard it too, huh?
As she walks out of the bathroom, she catches sight of something black moving. At first, she assumes it's just a shadow or her eyes adjusting to the lighting, but when she turns her head, the shape is still there, a dark, human-like figure peeping before vanishing moments later. Many viewers believe this could be what's commonly referred to as a shadow figure, entities often described as pitch-black silhouettes that appear briefly and disappear without a trace. Others think it could be tied to stress, fatigue, or the brain misinterpreting familiar spaces, especially when someone is alone and alert. But some point out that seeing a figure clearly enough to turn and face it suggests something more than imagination. Whether this was a shadow entity, residual energy, or something her mind can't explain yet, one thing is certain: whatever she saw felt real enough to leave her shaken. But Stego, you think she's dealing with? Now, in this next clip, a family is dealing with the terrifying consequences of opening their door to something knocking in the middle of the night. At first, they thought it was just a mistake, maybe a neighbor, maybe kids playing a prank, but ever since that moment, their nights have been anything but normal. Sleep has become nearly impossible. Objects shift around the house on their own, voices are heard when no one else is awake, and the knocking never truly stops. It only moves, echoing from different parts of the home. Watch this.
Voy a ir a ver, güey.
Sí, sí, güey.
Ya estoy grabando, ¿eh?
Sí, ya. Con cuidado, el palo, el tubo, güey.
No mames, pero está tocando bien de... güey. Aquí está, aquí está, aquí. A la máquina, güey. Márcala a la policía, güey. Sí. A la madre. A su verga, güey. A la verga. ¡Hey! ¡Hey!
Ábreme, hijo de tu puta madre.
¿Qué quieres?
Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre.
¿Quién eres?
Soy el que andas buscando. ¿No que me querías ver? Aquí estoy. Ábreme.
La sangre de Cristo tiene poder.
Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre.
¿Qué eres?
Soy el que tú quieres ver, cabrón. Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre.
¿Por qué estás molestando aquí? Aquí no hay nada. Y ahí le llamé a la patrulla, ¿eh?
Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. Querías verme, pues aquí estoy.
Pues entra a ver.
Ya estoy adentro de tu casa. Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre.
Lárgate a chingar a tu madre de aquí. Ya le hablé a la patrulla, ¿eh?
Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. Ya estoy ahí adentro de tu casa.
Ya viene la patrulla, nada más te aviso, ¿eh? Lárgate de aquí. Lárgate. Ya le abriste a la patrulla.
What makes this moment especially unsettling is that whatever is inside the house doesn't just knock anymore. This time, it responds. Paranormal researchers often warn that responding to unknown knocking or voices at night is one of the worst things you can do. Many believe it's an invitation, an acknowledgement that gives whatever is outside permission to cross a boundary. In this case, it seems whatever entered that night may be growing stronger, or worse, drawing in other presences. Some believe one spirit can act like a doorway, inviting others to follow. And judging by how the activity has escalated, this family may no longer be dealing with just one thing. But until we receive more updates from the family, this remains unsolved. The following clip was recorded by a team of paranormal investigators who entered a house already known for intense activity. From the moment they stepped inside, they said the atmosphere felt heavy, almost oppressive, like they were being watched. In a previous video we shared about this same location, their first instinct was to pray, something many believe can provoke or expose darker entities rather than calm them, and in that case, the prayers seemed to force whatever was in the house to make itself known. This time, their attention was drawn to a creepy doll sitting quietly inside the home. Instead of avoiding it, they decided to use it as part of an experiment. Watch closely.
Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare suflet neliniștit, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială prin care am fost investit, îți ordon să miști pina aia Mă arși de aici! Bă, ca mea!
Râmea aia, băi, frate.
Mă arși de aici că nu cred așa ceva. Holy Jesus Christ! Stit, îți ordon să miști pina aia. Bă, mă arși de aici! Bă, ca mea! Vă arăt pina asta? Că nu-i legată cu nimic? Hă? Of, Doamne! Vă arăt pina asta? Hă?
Ridică-mă, du-o încoace, ia-o, răstoarnă, învârte-o pe tot. Uite, Dumnezeu, uite
Vă arăt pina asta care nu-i legată cu nimic?
Uite picioare în ea, măi.
Hă? Dacă răbușa nu e abonată de asta.
Dar oricum poți să filmezi, stai să...
Vă arăt, mă, puterea asta primordială?
There was nothing attached to the doll. No strings, no tricks, no hidden mechanism. The doll moved on its own. Some viewers argue the movement could be explained by balance or vibrations, but one of the investigators wasn't convinced that this alone was enough proof. So they decided to test something else nearby, choosing a completely different object to rule out coincidence. Take a look.
Oricare spirit te afla, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială prin care am fost investit de către patriarh, îți ordon să miști.
Nivelor.
Mișcă poza aia sau dă-o jos, fă ceva. Maș de aici! Aoleu! Uitați pozele, uitați poșetele, uitați poza că nu e legată cu nimic. Da? Uitați. Uitați pozele, uitați. Da? Da, Doamne.
After this second attempt, it became much harder to dismiss what was happening. Two separate objects responding under similar conditions suggested this wasn't just about the doll itself. Still, wanting absolute confirmation, they pushed further and attempted one final test. This time, they focused on something much larger.
Prin puterea prin care am fost investit, să rup perdeaua aia. Trage-o cât are.
Băi, Alin, băi. Doamne, băi, ca tu.
The curtains suddenly moved with force. Many believe this escalation is significant, and some say it shows the presence growing more aggressive the more it's challenged, while others warn that repeated provocation can turn a passive entity into a dangerous one. According to paranormal belief, spirits that respond with increasing force aren't simply playful, they're territorial, reactive, and possibly hostile. Whether this was a buildup of energy, a violent entity asserting control, or something darker reacting to being tested, one thing is clear. Whatever was inside that house didn't like being questioned. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian investigates the Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater, and this time he heads down into the basement. At first, everything feels calm, just old artifacts, storage rooms, and the quiet hum you'd expect from a historic building. But that calm doesn't last long. Watch and listen closely.
Creepy old fireplace. Oh my god, those sounded like voices. Hello? That legit sounded like people talking. Who's talking? Okay, there's definitely someone in there. Sounds like people talking in here. Hello? Who's in there? Talk to me. What's your name? Oh my gosh. Is there someone in here? There's literally nobody in here. And yet it sounded like there were. Oh. What's that smell?
The voices sound distant, almost conversational, as if someone is speaking just out of sight. Ian pauses, trying to pinpoint where it's coming from, when something else happens that confirms his suspicion that he isn't alone.
Alright, I know somebody's down here with me. Could you give me a sign of your presence? That door just opened! Oh my god! What just happened? Look at that. What? Are you serious? How do you explain that? That drawer just went boom. It just opened by itself. Thank you for opening the drawer. Could you shut it? That cigar smell is a lot stronger over here. It literally feels like there's 4 different spirits here sitting in each one of these chairs. And one of them just opened that. I can't thank you enough for opening that drawer. Thank you so much, because that was phenomenal. You got my heart rate going up. No way. It just moved again. Did you see that? Oh my god. I have no explanation for that. Wow, I am blown away. Thank you so much again.
This time, the movement isn't dramatic, but it's deliberate enough to catch his attention. Some viewers believe it's a response, subtle, controlled, and intentional. Ian considers possible explanations like pressure changes or airflow, but he can't find anything in the basement that would account for what just happened. Adding to the unease, longtime staff and investigators have shared rumors about this basement over the years. Some claim it's a hotspot for unexplained voices, especially late at night. Others say footsteps can be heard pacing back and forth when no one else is below, while a few report feeling sudden dizziness or heaviness in their chest after spending too much time down there. There are even stories suggesting the basement may have been used for private meetings and rehearsals long ago, leaving behind residual energy tied to intense emotion. So what do you think? Lingering energy from the theater's long history, or something more dangerous? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip is about a man named Nick, who manages a yogurt store and for a long time dismissed the strange stories his staff kept telling him. Employees had complained about lights flickering, objects shifting when no one was nearby, and an uneasy feeling that only seemed to happen during closing hours. At first, Nick assumed there had to be logical explanations, faulty wiring, building issues, or simple human error. But eventually, he experienced the same thing. Watch.
Okay, I'm literally at work right now. I'm alone. That's my car. There is not one other car in the parking lot. Look, the freaking light's flickering from the reflection in the window. I don't know what's going on. I'm here alone, and this is what I deal with that I usually don't catch on camera. This is the light switch. Ready? This? Oh, I think I stopped it. Did I stop it? No, I didn't. I didn't stop it. I don't know what's going on, and this makes absolutely no sense. And now it stopped. Good. And ready? Here we go. Because that makes sense, right? This is what I deal with, and no one understands. And of course I'm here alone, and this is like a friggin' murder house. This is my security cameras. There's no one here, so I don't understand. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Hello?
At first glance, many people assumed it was nothing more than electrical problems. After all, flickering lights in older buildings aren't uncommon, but power shortages don't explain everything, because moments later, a chair suddenly falls over on its own in the attic. Nick later revealed something even more unsettling. Before he started recording, he heard what sounded like a girl singing somewhere inside the building, and according to him, this wasn't the first time. Several employees had mentioned hearing the same thing, soft singing late at night, always when the store was nearly empty. There was also another detail that people couldn't ignore. The neighboring store right next to them had recently gone out of business. The space had been empty ever since. Dark, silent, unused, and yet some began to wonder if whatever energy lingered there had simply moved next door. At this point, people were curious, but not fully convinced. Many chose to wait for more evidence, and then it happened again. One evening, as Nick and his staff were preparing to leave, thinking the night had been quiet, the camera captured something else.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and
I'm shaking right now.
okay, and her keys are in the fucking bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
What's this like? Bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, I deadass put them on the desk. Like, oh my god.
This is literally insane.
If you look closely, a topping lid suddenly flies off the counter, like something physically knocked it away. And almost immediately after that, the lights they had just turned off began flickering again, as if something inside the darkness was moving through the store. This was the moment people stopped blaming electricity. Because faulty wiring can cause flickering, but it can't remove lids, it can't target objects, and it certainly can't create the feeling that something is active only when the building is empty. That detail became especially disturbing, the fact that all of this only ever happened at night. Some viewers began speculating that it could be what paranormal researchers call a residual spirit, energy left behind by someone who once spent a lot of time in that place. Residual hauntings often repeat certain behaviors, moving through familiar areas, making familiar sounds, sometimes even singing. Others believed it might be something more aware. And then came the moment that disturbed people the most. One night, while Nick was inside recording again, something happened that was impossible to ignore. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras, and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, go, go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the. Bro, Nick, did you do this on purpose?
I.
Did you fake this? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
From the darkness, something is suddenly thrown in his direction, like something didn't want him there. Nick and his staff quickly left, shaken and trying to process what just happened. But seconds later, when they looked back, they saw the lights moving inside again. Some believe this could be what's known as a poltergeist, an entity known not just for appearing, but for interacting physically with the environment. Poltergeists are often associated with thrown objects, sudden movement, and escalating aggression. Unlike residual energy, they don't simply replay the past, they react, and sometimes they target. Others believe it could be something attached to the building itself, especially considering the abandoned store next door. Paranormal investigators often warn that empty spaces can sometimes become vessels, places where energy gathers without interruption. And then there's the singing, because one of the most unsettling signs reported in hauntings is disembodied singing. Familiar and human, but with no visible source. Many believe this is a way entities announce their presence, not loudly but subtly, but enough to be noticed and enough to be remembered. until more updates are given, all anyone can do is speculate. But if you were standing there alone, hearing singing in an empty store, and watching things move on their own, what would you say you're dealing with? In this next video, a woman is in the middle of a live session, calmly recording herself and interacting with her audience when something deeply unsettling appears behind her. Take a look.
Hi guys, today I want to tell you about the situ. Okay, so what was that? I'm scared.
At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But then, for a brief moment, the outline of what appears to be a man becomes visible in the mirror. Moments later, she steps out to check the area, but there's no one there. Nothing that explains who or what was reflected. Shortly after she returns, her door slowly opens on its own. Some viewers believe this points to a possible intruder or even a stalker, someone who may have been inside the home without her knowledge, staying quiet and out of sight. And honestly, that explanation carries its own kind of fear. The idea that someone could enter and leave without being noticed is deeply disturbing, but others question the way the door opens. There's no visible force behind it, just a slow, steady movement that doesn't seem tied to anyone physically present. Either way, both explanations leave the same unsettling question. Was someone in her home that night, or was it something else? In this next video, a well-known Turkish paranormal content creator who specializes in found footage style investigations travels deep into the Turkish countryside to a village long rumored to be inhabited by jinn. These abandoned settlements, known locally as Turkadilmiş Koylar, are often avoided entirely, their silence carrying stories no one wants to verify firsthand. His first stop is an abandoned house at the edge of the village. Normally, his investigations begin quietly. Minutes pass with nothing but the sound of wind and his own footsteps. But this place feels different from the start. Only seconds after stepping inside, something suddenly tries to attack him.
Ha! Buradan uçtu vallahi.
The object narrowly misses him, and at that moment, he and his friend immediately realize they're dealing with something far more active than expected. They leave the house quickly because whatever threw that object didn't miss by accident. And there's no guarantee the next one would, but their investigation is only beginning. They soon arrive at another location deeper within the village, a place known as Sin Ovasa, the Plain of Jinn. Even the name carries a warning. As he scans the ground with his flashlight, something unusual catches his attention. Lying in the dirt is a small wooden structure, a talisman.
Burada ooo. Ağaçtan geldi. Bu ağaçtan geldi. Gördünüz mü arkadaşlar?
It appears to have been thrown from the direction of a nearby tree. In Turkish folk magic, objects like this are often referred to as a muska or talisman. They are believed to serve as anchors, either to bind a curse to a location or to trap a jinn in a specific place. They are usually buried carefully, hidden from sight, because disturbing or removing them is said to release whatever they were meant to contain. As they move closer to investigate, a strange voice suddenly breaks the silence. Neither of them can identify where it's coming from, but it's close enough to send them running. After putting some distance between themselves and the tree, they stop and shine their flashlight back toward the spot where they heard the sound. And that's when they see it. A figure, standing motionless in the darkness, watching them. They didn't stay long enough to find out what it was, but before leaving the village entirely, they decided to investigate one final abandoned house. Except, this house didn't feel abandoned.
Oradan mı geliyor? Orada. İnsan kıran insan. İnsan, evet. İnsan. Hadi insan delidir. İnsan normal bir insan. İnsandır. İnsan gibi diye. Tam kapıdaydı Sinan. Tam kapıdaydı.
As they slowly move through the rooms, their flashlight catches something disturbing. A hand that appears briefly from behind a door. It looks human, solid, and real. But when they entered, no one was there. No open doors, no broken windows, and no possible exit. Whoever or whatever they saw had nowhere to go, and somehow it vanished anyway. To this day, what they encountered inside that house remains a mystery. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest investigator, Midwest Ghost Hunter, continues his investigation in one of the most feared locations in the state of Indiana, the abandoned Blackford County Jail. Earlier in his investigation, Ian had already been driven out of the basement after rocks were thrown in his direction. Still unsettled, he moves upstairs toward the sheriff's quarters, searching for something specific. A pair of slippers that previous visitors claim appears and disappears without explanation. But as Ian stands near the staircase, scanning the quiet hallway, something suddenly comes flying down from above. Watch closely.
Who's behind the disappearing slipper? Because I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the strangest things I've ever heard. Are you a female spirit? What is your name? Did you once live here? Oh, what the? What the heck was that? Dude, something just hit me on the freaking head. What the heck was that? Whoa! What? Is that a ring? Oh my god. Dude, I just got hit in the head with a freaking ring. Oh shit, I dropped it. Where did it go? Where'd it go? I dropped it somewhere down here. Dude, what the heck? Like, who threw something at me? Something just hit me in the head. It was a ring.
An old, ornate ring comes flying down the stairs and strikes him directly on the back of the head. Ian searches the immediate area, checking the floor, the steps, and the surrounding space, but couldn't find it anywhere. Then, things escalate even further.
Okay, I'm genuinely lost. I don't know where this thing went. Dude, I just heard a woman. Okay, I'm going up. Alright, screw the ring. I'm going up here. Hello? Hello? I just heard somebody. Oh, dude. I almost fell. I just heard somebody up here. Hello? Ma'am? Did you throw a ring at me? It's okay. I'm not mad. I just want to know why. Why'd you throw it? What if it disappeared? No. That's crazy. There's no way. I physically had it in my hand.
A faint woman's voice can be heard somewhere inside the quarters. Ian freezes and tries to listen carefully, but there's no one else inside the building. No footsteps, no movement, just the voice. To this day, it's still unclear what threw the ring or who was speaking. For more haunting videos, including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip centers on a couple who, for weeks now, have been dealing with something that has steadily disrupted their peace. Something persistent enough that they no longer see it as random, but as connected to a specific event they can't ignore. A few weeks earlier, the husband's twin brother passed away, and according to them, that's when everything began. Since then, there have been repeated attempts, something knocking, something trying to open the door at odd hours, always when the house is quiet, always when it feels most unsettling. Not once or twice, but often enough to form a pattern that's hard to dismiss. Watch. Before leaving the house one day, the husband made sure to install a secure key system, and it wasn't just for general safety. He had two very specific reasons. The first was obvious. The constant knocking and attempts at the door had already made it clear that something or someone was trying to get in, and he didn't want to take any chances. But the second reason is where things become more concerning. He didn't want his wife to feel pressured to open the door. Because in situations like this, especially when the disturbances are persistent and timed, there's always that moment of doubt, that moment where curiosity or fear pushes someone to respond. And he understood that if she ever gave in and opened that door, whatever was behind it might not just be something that leaves afterward. In this next video, a man named Jorge shares the ongoing situation he's been dealing with. One that didn't start all at once, but slowly built up over time. Beginning with small, almost dismissible details, objects slightly out of place, shadows that didn't quite make sense, and that constant, uneasy feeling of not being alone, even when the house was empty. But what started off subtle didn't stay that way. The activity grew more intense, more frequent, to the point where he made the decision not to let his young daughter stay in the house with him anymore, because whatever was happening no longer felt harmless or ignorable. Things became even more disturbing when the experiences followed him into his sleep. But it wasn't just the dreams, it was what the camera captured while he was asleep that people can't get past. Watch.
Get away. Get away. Get away from me. Help.
He wants to attack me. I need help, someone. Help! Help! I'm trapped. I'm trapped. Got me out. Got me out. Her hostage. Oh. This is my family. Don't take my family. Take me instead. Let them go.
First, the cross shifts and turns upside down. Then, on the curtain, a figure becomes visible, faint but distinct enough to notice, with what appears to be white eyes reflecting through the fabric. And if you look even closer, there's another detail that many viewers pointed out. On the left side of the mirror, what looks like a face, pale, but present enough to stand out once you see it. Alongside all of this, there are sounds. Something that resembles laughter, low, distorted, and difficult to fully make out. Some believe it carries a pattern, almost like words trying to form, while others describe it as something far more unsettling, something that doesn't sound human at all, a demon. At the same time, Jorge describes the dreams he's been having, not random, not scattered, but consistent, where he finds himself unable to move, surrounded by figures that hold him down, repeatedly telling him that they're not gonna let him go. Sleep, for him, stopped being rest. It became something to fear, but even being awake didn't bring relief. Watch.
Sí, underground, estamos aquí, bien potreado. Ya tu gata póngale candado, que tú sabes que esto es demasiado, no es culpa mía. Si la gata tuya quiere perrear, no es culpa mía. Así que muévelo duro, muévelo duro, muévelo. Pero la babeta, oh no! Pum pum pum pum pum pum pum pum pum. Oh. Something. It felt cold for a second.
While doing simple chores, headphones on, trying to distract himself with music, something happens that pulls him right back into it. The garbage falls, not slowly, not naturally, but in a way that suggests force, like it was pushed rather than dropped. And then came what he describes as one of the most terrifying nights he's experienced, Christmas night. A time most associate with calm, family, and celebration, but for Jorge, it became something else entirely. Right before going to bed, this happened. Watch.
Yo, I swear to God, there was like some... Shit! Fuck, what the f*** is that? What the f*** is that? You gotta be kidding me! Who goes there? Who goes there? That shit cannot be real. What the f***? You gotta be kidding me. What the f*** was that? You gotta be f***ing kidding me. You gotta... You gotta be messing with me. I swear to God, this gotta be a fucking joke. Whoever's in here, I command you to leave in the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to leave now. Oh, I got adrenaline going right through my body. What the is that? Ah, shit! Ah! Shit! What the who goes there? You gotta be kidding me. Wasn't this shit close? Oh, oh shit. What the is that? Guys, you gotta be kidding me. Oh shit! What's the thing? Oh, I'm getting a headache badly. I'm getting a headache badly. Oh, ah, shit! Ah, oh shit! Oh shit! You gotta be kidding me! Oh shit! No!
It was after sharing that footage that he revealed something even more concerning. This wasn't the first house where he experienced things like this. In his previous home, there had been similar incidents, unexplained, persistent, and now it feels like whatever he was dealing with didn't stay behind, it followed him. And that possibility changes everything, because it suggests this might not be tied to a location, but to him. But what it is, why it's there, and what it wants are questions he still hasn't been able to answer. This next video follows Rosanna Darkcha, a TikToker whose recordings from her apartment in France have unsettled a huge number of viewers, not because of one isolated incident, but because of how consistent and widespread the activity appears to be throughout her home. From shadows said to move through her corridors around 3 a.m. to strange chanting-like sounds coming from enclosed spaces like the bathroom, Rosanna has been documenting what many believe resembles ongoing poltergeist activity, something that doesn't stay in one place and doesn't seem to follow a predictable pattern. One night, when her kids were away at her mother's house, something happened that pushed things even further. Watch.
C'est pas possible, ça marche pas. Ça marche.
She begins to hear the voice of her daughter calling out to her. Naturally, she follows the sound, expecting to find nothing, knowing her children aren't home, but what she walks into is far from normal. A radio is playing on its own, despite not being plugged in, with no cassette inside, no visible source of power. At the same time, drawers begin opening by themselves, one after another, like something is moving through the room, interacting with objects deliberately. And the activity doesn't stay contained. If it's not happening in the children's toy room, it shifts to the bathroom. If not the bathroom, then the study. It's as if whatever is behind it isn't confined to one space, but moves freely throughout the apartment. Watch. Books fall from the shelf without warning. The passage light flickers on and off. And then, in the middle of it all, she describes feeling something wrap around her throat, like hands tightening, even though there is no one there. Moments like that are difficult to rationalize because they move beyond objects and sounds into something physical, something that suggests direct interaction. Some viewers believe this aligns with classic poltergeist behavior, chaotic, mobile, and increasingly aggressive over time. Others argue that the scale and intensity of the events raise questions about authenticity, suggesting it could be an elaborate digital production designed to appear real. But what keeps people watching is the consistency, the way the activity spans different rooms, different moments, and different types of disturbances, all captured and shared over time. So what do you think? Are we looking at one of the most convincing paranormal cases in recent years, or something carefully constructed to feel exactly like one? You decide. Now in this next video, there have been rumors circulating around a quiet community for some time, stories people share cautiously, often lowering their voices, about something that moves through the streets at night, something that doesn't stay in one place, but passes by houses, slowly, deliberately, and in some cases is said to stop just long enough to peer through windows before disappearing again. Most people brushed it off at first until more than one person started describing the same thing. One night, a man returning from his night shift experienced something he couldn't explain, something that turned those rumors into something much harder to ignore. He was already close to his house, going about something as ordinary as packing his clothes on the hanger outside so he wouldn't have to rush the next morning, when he noticed a figure. What makes this moment unsettling isn't just the sighting itself, but the way it fits into what others in the area have been quietly saying. Because after he showed the footage to his neighbors, several of them claimed they had seen something similar before. Something appearing briefly outside windows, something watching, but never staying long enough to be fully confronted. And that's where the speculation begins. Some believe it could be tied to something older, something connected to the history of the area, suggesting that if multiple people are seeing the same figure in different places, it may not be moving in a normal physical way at all. The idea that it peeks through windows is what unsettles people the most, because it suggests curiosity, awareness, and possibly intent. Now, some residents have started looking into the past of the area, trying to find out if anything happened years ago, if someone once lived there, or passed under circumstances that were never fully resolved. But until something concrete is uncovered, and until there's a clear explanation for what's being seen, this remains a mystery. In the following video, another family shares an experience that didn't happen just once, but repeated itself over months, slowly turning what could have been dismissed as coincidence into something far more unsettling. They began noticing figures appearing at their door, faint shapes visible through the curtain, standing there as if waiting. At the same time, their doorbell would ring at odd hours, times when no one should reasonably be visiting, and every time they checked, no one was there. It kept happening again and again, until one day, they finally caught something on camera. Have a look.
Mira, ¿está moviendo ahí? Mira, ahí. Aquí hay algo. Mira si hay alguien en la terraza. No hay nadie. Ya se fue.
Through the curtain, a figure is clearly visible, but the moment they react, pulling the curtain open to confront whoever or whatever is standing there, there's nothing. At first, it's easy to think it could be something external, maybe a tree, a passing shadow, something creating an illusion against the fabric. But that explanation becomes harder to hold onto the moment the figure appears to move. This raises a broader concern, one that many people overlook. The idea that whatever moves through streets, through quiet neighborhoods at night, may not always pass by without interaction. And that's why some believe it's important to be careful, to be aware, to protect your space in whatever way you believe is right, because in situations like this, the line between outside and inside becomes more significant than it seems. Because the moment you open your door, you want to be certain you're not opening it to unseen spirits, or something far worse. The following video was captured by a group of ghost hunters who decided to explore an abandoned house after several reports suggested something dark was attached to the property. From the moment they stepped inside, they described the atmosphere as heavy, tense, and almost hostile. The kind of place where silence doesn't feel empty, but watchful. Believing the presence to be malevolent, they began praying, hoping to protect themselves and possibly force whatever was there to reveal itself. But according to many paranormal beliefs, prayer doesn't always bring peace. Some say it agitates negative entities, almost like shining a light on something that wants to stay hidden. Watch what happens next.
Bun. Ești sigur? Da. Hai, uite acum zic. Ia. Cred în bunul Dumnezeu, Tatăl Altotțitorul, Făcătorul cerului și al pământului.
Oprește-te, oprește! Băi, Alin, uite alea cum fac bilile toate trei.
Știu unde am rămas.
Ea nu va pleca.
Da, știu când va pleca. Tatăl Altotțitorului, Făcătorul cerului și al pământului, care pretutindeni ai și pe toate le împlinești, vistierul bunătăților și dătătorule de viață, vino și ne slăzășluiește întru noi și ne cu toată închinăciunea. Băi, nebunilor, băi!
Fai de capul meu!
Ce s-o sparg? Nu s-o sparg nimic. Cum să spargă ceva?
Frate, nimic nu.
Doamne ferește. Dar ce să spargă?
Hai de capul meu!
Dar nu se vede.
Frică, nu mai fă, frate, că murim.
Păi da, bine că s-o auzi spart, dar nu-i spart nimic. Deci vă asigur eu că nu-i spart nimic. Ce să fie spart?
Dau arda aici pe mâini, că nu e jali,
Viewers believe this reaction suggests the presence felt threatened, not comforted by the prayers. Others argue that prayer can act as a form of confrontation, drawing attention from entities that feed on fear or resistance. Whatever the case, the timing is hard to ignore, but until we get more updates about this house, this remains unsolved. Now, in the following videos, a man and his family are convinced they're living with a ghost. In fact, they've gone as far as giving it a name, Ghost Malone, a playful nod to Post Malone, because according to them, the presence feels calm, relaxed, and non-threatening. They say things move around their house almost every night, especially toys, but insist it has never tried to hurt them. Still, many viewers can't help but ask the same question. How long does a spirit stay harmless? Take a look at what a typical night in their home looks like.
It's 3:30 in the morning. I swear on my life. For freaking toy cars. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. No. No, sir. No, ma'am. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know whether to wake Elizabeth or somebody call Justin Nunley or an exorcist. I don't know. I mean, I'm not scared, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shaking. So I'm just gonna leave it there till the morning for Elizabeth to come play with it. And it's not electronical, y'all. There ain't no damn motor in that thing. I feel so weird and out of place right now. I don't know if it's still there. To be truthful, I'm thinking about just leaving Elizabeth in Revelation and going somewhere for the night. I don't know what to do. Let's check on it. You still there? Pirates of the Caribbean's getting good. I'm not scared. I'm just kind of freaked out because, like, it's friendly. Hasn't thrown it.
What immediately stands out is the toy car. It has no batteries, no electrical components, and yet it moves on its own. Some viewers tried to brush it off as coincidence, uneven flooring, or leftover momentum, but those explanations quickly fall apart when you realize this isn't a one-time event, and it's not just one toy. Similar things have happened repeatedly, and after seeing this clip, many people weren't convinced that whatever was in the house was truly harmless. Some believe genuinely good spirits are rare, and when they do exist, they don't usually interact directly with the living. Concerned viewers suggested the father try certain cleansing methods to see how the presence would react, a way to test whether the entity was truly peaceful or simply pretending. So the next morning, he followed some of those suggestions. Watch what happened.
I actually fell asleep, and this is what I woke up to. Elizabeth. Baby. Hey.
Goodbye.
Okay, no, for real, like, so what are we doing? Oh. Okay. Are you... Somebody said salt. Hold on.
I don't know if you're supposed to draw a circle around it.
Well, it's a half circle, but I don't think you're supposed to do anything else. I don't know. Y'all got suggestions, let me know.
Instead of focusing on the fact that the holy water, salt, and prayers didn't seem to drive anything away, viewers noticed something far more disturbing. If you look closely at the doorway, you can see what appears to be a small, childlike figure standing completely still. That single detail sent chills through the comment section, but that raised another unsettling question. Why did the cleansing attempt seem to have little to no effect? Well, things escalated beyond toys. Watch this.
Are you there? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Well, that's one of the things that I've discovered.
Whenever the house goes quiet, all he has to do is ask, "Are you there?" And something moves in response. At that point, many viewers said it could no longer be coincidence. But what troubled people even more was the interaction itself. A lot of paranormal believers warn that acknowledging a spirit gives it energy. Others say responding invites it closer, strengthens its presence, or even allows attachment. Despite all of that, the family continues living as normal, still convinced it isn't dangerous. One night, they didn't only check if it was there, they tried to communicate with it. Watch closely.
So we are all sitting here, enjoying our Taco Bell, right? And Ghost Malone was over there shaking the door a second ago. Ghost Malone, if you are still around, do something.
Give us a sign.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nonchalant. Alright, so ironically, I'm watching Ghostbusters, right? Ghost Malone, Ghosty. Yo. Are you kidding? Alright, so I've been asking Ghost Malone some questions. Okay, so 1 time if you're there, 2 times, or I guess no times if you're not. Definitely there, okay. Are you friendly? Okay, okay. Do you like Ghostbusters? No? Okay, do you like movies? Okay, okay. Alright, just on Ghostbusters, I guess it's insulting. Are you here to cause harm? Okay. Okay. And I wish I knew Morse code. We'd try that. Are you an older spirit? Okay, but not a bad spirit. Okay. Is there more than one of you? Oh, okay.
Many believe dark entities don't reveal their true nature immediately. Instead, they appear calm, friendly, even playful, a tactic often compared to the Annabelle doll, which was first believed to be harmless before far darker activity followed. Because of this, viewers are increasingly convinced that whatever this entity is, it may be growing stronger, not kinder. People urge the family to stop interacting, cleanse the home thoroughly, and protect themselves before things escalated further, but none of the things happening bothers them. Take a look.
So, a couple weird things have happened tonight, like my mom's painting over there has moved, and Ghosty, Ghost Malone, you there? Don't judge the trash, it's trash day. Ghosty. Okay. Maxie, what was that? Huh? So we're sitting here. Revelation here, is it?
Hi, Maxie.
It should also be noted that we've had several offers from paranormal people to come here and whatnot. We're down, but there's been a few of them that are private profiles, minus the big ones you guys have suggested. Nobody's reached out, but I don't know. I might take offers for people to just come stay the night so you can see whether it's real or not for yourself. I don't know. But yeah, I am gonna take a list of questions. I've been writing down in the comments all the questions you guys have for Ghost Malone. And then we're going to do the Stranger Things light or dog button things to see if that does anything.
This time, even the dog reacts. As the playpen moves, the dog retreats into its cage, a response many believe animals only show when they sense something threatening. According to viewers, a presence strong enough to move objects, frighten a dog, and respond intelligently isn't something to take lightly. Some believe this entity was never harmless, just patient. But until the family shares more updates, all anyone can do is hope the situation doesn't turn dangerous. Now, in this next video, a guy who goes by the username Mosh moved to Appalachia, and according to him, he hasn't had a single peaceful moment since. Appalachia is one of those places people constantly warn you about. Dense forests, winding back roads, long stretches with no cell service, and generations of folklore that all seem to agree on one thing. If something calls out to you out there, you don't answer. Many believe the land itself holds onto things that don't like being disturbed. Mosh has been documenting his experiences both inside his home and outside, and in several of his earlier videos, paranormal investigators and longtime viewers suggested he might be dealing with what are often called jokester spirits, entities that don't immediately harm you, but thrive on fear, confusion, and reaction. They mimic sounds, footsteps, and voices just enough to make you question your sanity. One night, while walking, Mosh suddenly got the overwhelming feeling that something was following him. Not just a sound, but a presence, staying just out of sight. Trusting his instincts, he checked the camera he installed in the house and saw this. Watch. After reviewing the footage, many viewers say this explains a lot. The unexplained footsteps, the whispers he's heard when no one is around, and that constant sense of being watched. Some believe whatever this is has been testing boundaries, slowly revealing itself once it realized Mosh was paying attention. Others think it's feeding off his fear, waiting for the moment he reacts or responds. So, what do you see in this video? And more importantly, What do you think has been following him this whole time? The following video is shared by a man who had previously documented how everything in his apartment changed the moment he brought home a set of old toys. Almost immediately, the space felt different. Knocking sounds began echoing through the walls, objects shifted on their own, and at times the presence felt so overwhelming that he would lock himself in another room out of fear. But this next video unsettles viewers for a different reason. This time, none of the dolls or toys are visible anywhere in the apartment, and yet the activity continues. Watch closely.
Son las 2 de la mañana, se están escuchando ruidos en la sala. Están moviendo la silla, raza. La madre. Escucho algo acá, raza. Tomaron el desodorante. ¿Qué estará pasando, anda? Madre.
Whatever is disturbing this apartment hasn't left with the objects themselves. Many believe spirits don't always stay attached to the item that brought them in. Some think the toys may have acted as a doorway, something that allowed an entity to anchor itself to the space rather than the objects. Others argue this could be residual energy, replaying moments of disturbance long after the source is removed. But there's also a darker theory that removing the items only angered whatever was invited in. But what do you think? Now in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian investigates the Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater, a location widely considered one of the most haunted places in Wisconsin. The theater was commissioned in 1889 by Captain Andrew Tainter and his wife Bertha in honor of their late daughter, Mabel Tainter, who tragically died at just 19 years old. In life, Mabel was deeply passionate about music and the arts, and because of that, no expense was spared in the theater's design. From its grand architecture to its detailed interior, the building was meant to preserve her spirit and legacy. While exploring the theater late at night, Ian begins taking photographs inside the theater room when he suddenly hears a loud bang echo through the building. Tracing the noise, Ian follows it to an office once used by Reverend Henry Maxson. Watch closely.
That's his old chalkboard right there. And that is his handwriting. They've kept that preserved. That must have been from his last lecture before dying. Father, if you are indeed in here, could you tap on your chalkboard? Make a tapping sound like you're writing on it. I would be amazed if you did that. What the? That sounded like paper being moved. It was on this desk. Like, whoa, you see that? Dude, look at that. That has to be it. Look at that, it's literally hanging off of the table.
Maxson wasn't just any figure connected to this place. He was the Unitarian pastor who originally convinced Andrew and Bertha Tainter to build the memorial for Mabel. When the building officially opened in 1890, it served not only as a theater, but also as a community center and the permanent home of the Unitarian Society of Menomonee. Maxson himself gave the presentation address at the building's dedication, and for years, Sunday services were held directly on the theater's stage, with Maxson preaching to the congregation. Before leaving the office, Ian decides to set his camera down, leaving it recording as he steps away. What happens next is unsettling. Did Ian manage to capture the ghost of Reverend Henry Maxton still sitting at his desk, tied to the theater he once served? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded by a man named Isaac, who recently moved into a house that has been passed down through several generations of his family. On the surface, it seems like a typical old home. Quiet, somewhat isolated, and filled with the kind of history that comes with buildings that have stood for decades. But once you learn what happened there long before Isaac arrived, the story begins to feel far more unsettling. The original owner of the house was a war veteran. After returning from combat, he reportedly struggled heavily with PTSD, and family members say there were nights when he would suddenly leave the house and hide outside, convinced he was hearing noises coming from a small shed in the backyard. He insisted something was in there, something moving and sometimes watching. Over time, his fear of that shed grew so intense that he eventually refused to go anywhere near it. Even during the daytime, he would avoid walking past it. Years later, Isaac says that same shed is the one place on the property that never feels right. From his bedroom window, he claims he has occasionally seen figures moving inside it. Other nights, he hears loud banging coming from the shed door, like something inside is trying to force its way out. One morning, while recording a video to answer questions from viewers about the house, something strange happened. Watch this.
I've been seeing all the comments, I've been seeing all the questions, and I wanted to make a video to answer those questions for you guys now. It's about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. I can't sleep. So I figured, why not, right? So on to the first question. What happened to the video? Y'all hear that, right? Like that. Y'all see that?
If you look closely at the window behind him, a white figure briefly appears, then suddenly moves out of sight. And not long after that, something else happens. The door slowly opens on its own, even though no one else is there. Moments like that made viewers even more curious about the shed itself, so many began asking Isaac to go inside and check it out. Watch this.
Okay, so you guys have been asking me to take you in the shed and leave the phone in there. And I know it's been a little while since I put out a video regarding the shed, but a lot has been happening and I just truly needed some time. So I took it. But just to show you, it is locked, okay? And I'm going to immediately, no cuts, as per usual. Okay, so we are walking into, God, these dolls are creepy. We're gonna walk in, well, not walk in, but we're in here now. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up. You guys got a good view, right? Windows, everything. All right, I guess I'll catch y'all. I'm out.
While Isaac is filming, a noise suddenly comes from one of the plastic containers, a sound that almost resembles a doll shifting or trying to move inside the box. Isaac later confirmed that when he checked afterward, there was a doll that wasn't inside its box. And if you're wondering, where did all those dolls come from? It turns out the granddaughter who now owns the property has a deep love for collecting dolls. Over the years, she filled the shed with them, hoping to eventually pass the collection down to her children. But after Isaac posted that video, viewers wanted more proof of what might be happening inside the shed. So they asked him to record another clip, this time from a different angle. Watch this.
And just so you know, because somebody actually said in the video yesterday, of course it happens from behind the camera. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Solid wall. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Okay. I'm out. That wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe I should close the door softer next time. Let's go ahead and try that again. Okay? I'm gonna close it softly this time. Lord have mercy.
Isaac had already left the shed, yet something was moving inside. Some viewers believe the shed could be tied to the trauma of the veteran who once lived there, a place where fear and distress lingered long after he passed away. Others think the dolls themselves may be acting like vessels, objects capable of holding or attracting energy. Despite how uneasy it made him feel, Isaac kept receiving messages asking him to go back to the shed again, with many people claiming the activity probably only happened during the daytime. But that assumption turned out to be wrong. Watch this. This time, whatever might be inside becomes far more active. Objects begin shifting around the room and things scatter across the floor. Some viewers claim they can hear faint breathing sounds in the background, while others believe they hear a voice quietly saying, "Help," or possibly, "Let me out," while another sound resembles someone saying, "Get out." Ever since Halloween, Isaac says every single night he hears sounds coming from the shed, noises that suggest something inside is moving things around. So each morning he wakes up to see this. Watch this.
This is what I come into every single day. You ask me why the shed? Look at this, dolls knocked over, turned around, baseboards moved, not baseboards, drywall moved, bed knocked over, powder all over the floor. This is what I come into every single day. You guys ask me why is the shed cleaned every single time I walk in here? It's because every single day I wake up, I have to come in and clean it because it's a mess. This is a regular occurrence. So you guys are gonna watch my morning routine. Somebody said lay it like this so you get a wider angle. I have a clip on the back. So there's no way, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. So let's maybe, okay, maybe from here. Okay, it's about as open as a shot as I can get because I have to. Somebody said they don't have the energy to do this. Man, it's freezing out here. It's like 20-something degrees here in South Carolina, and I'm out here having to yet once again pick all this shit up. God, I'm freezing. Even the foam mattress is solid. Good God Almighty. Back in the days when I used to wrestle, I used to pray for.
While he's sweeping and talking about the temperature in the area, a voice can be heard quietly saying, "Who's there?" Another detail also caught viewers' attention. Many people said that simply looking at that object gave them a strange, uncomfortable feeling. Several viewers even asked Isaac to investigate where it came from and why it was inside the shed in the first place. For now though, Isaac hasn't found any clear explanation, so until more details come out, that shed in the backyard remains a mystery. This next video was recorded by Nate, a man many viewers already recognize because of the strange activity that has been happening inside his home for quite some time now. Recently, people began digging deeper into his past and discovered that he used to work in a cemetery. And ever since that detail came out, some viewers have started linking the disturbances in his house to something he may have unknowingly brought back with him from that job. Whether that connection is real or not is impossible to prove, but the things happening inside his home have definitely kept people talking. One morning, Nate was simply going about his routine when he suddenly heard knocking coming from his back door. At first it sounded normal, like someone politely tapping to get his attention. Naturally, he walked over to check who might be outside, but when he got there, this happened.
So I just thought I heard somebody knocking on my back door, but I looked out there and I saw nothing, so seems like the dog heard it too. Hello? It sounds like it's coming from the back door. It's locked. There's nobody there. What the hell? I don't understand this. What the hell was that? Hello? I don't understand.
The knocking can clearly be heard, yet when Nate enters the kitchen, there's no one standing there. And if you listen carefully in the background of the clip, something else can be heard. A faint whisper that many viewers believe sounds like a woman's voice. This isn't the first time people have pointed out strange voices in Nate's recordings either. In several of his previous videos, viewers claimed to hear quiet murmurs or soft responses when Nate called out into empty rooms. Because of this, some people have started advising him to stop reacting to the activity altogether, saying that acknowledging it might only encourage whatever is causing it. But if we're being honest, that's a lot easier said than done. Imagine hearing someone knock on your door and simply ignoring it, especially when you're already dealing with things like waking up with unexplained scratches on your body, objects suddenly flying across the room, and sharp items being thrown around your home when no one else is there. At that point, curiosity and fear would probably make anyone want to check what's going on. Some viewers believe the whispers might be a form of electronic voice phenomenon, brief sounds that sometimes appear in recordings even when no one is speaking nearby. But considering everything Nate claims has been happening around him, the moment in this clip feels difficult to ignore. Whether this is connected to Nate's past work, something attached to the house itself, or something else entirely. For now, the situation remains unresolved. The following footage dates back to 2022 and was captured by a CCTV camera late at night, when the area was supposed to be completely quiet. Take a look. If you focus on the right side of the screen near the gate, you'll notice something unusual. A dark shape suddenly moves and then it disappears just as fast as it appeared. At first glance, many people suggested the most logical explanation: a camera glitch. Security cameras sometimes struggle in low light, especially when there's sudden movement, insects flying close to the lens, or changes in lighting that cause strange shadows to form. And in many cases, those explanations make perfect sense. But then, there are those who take the mystery a little further. Across many ancient cultures, there are stories suggesting that humans may not be the only beings that walk this world. Folklore from different parts of the world often speaks about shadowy figures, entities that appear briefly, moving along the edges of visibility, rarely staying long enough to be clearly seen. Some legends describe them as spirits passing between places. Others believe they could be remnants of something older, something that exists alongside us but rarely crosses fully into our world. Of course, there's no way to confirm anything like that from a single clip, but when a shape appears out of nowhere, moves like something alive, and then vanishes without a trace, it's hard not to wonder what exactly passed by. So was that a glitch, someone's shadow, or something else entirely? I'll leave that one for you to decide. Now in this next video, a man who has openly shared that he lives with severe schizophrenia decided to do something unusual. Because he often experiences things that others can't see, he started recording parts of his home at night, hoping the camera might help him figure out whether what he was seeing were hallucinations or something else entirely. One night, something strange happened and he caught it on camera. Seeing this, the man initially assumes it's just another hallucination, something his mind is creating. In the past, he developed a small trick to test whether something was real or not. Whenever he saw something unusual, he would open and close the drapes or change the lighting in the room, which usually helped make the vision disappear. So he tries the same thing again. He opens and closes the curtains, expecting the movement to stop. But this time, it doesn't. To this day, no one has been able to say with certainty what caused the movement that night. The following video was captured inside a hospital by Dave, a man who claims he's been gifted with sight since he was young. According to him, he doesn't just sense things, he sees and hears them. And he says spirits tend to follow him, especially in places where emotions are intense, like hospitals, cemeteries, abandoned buildings, places where life and death have crossed paths. While Dav was receiving treatment, he suddenly felt like he wasn't alone in the room. Watch.
There's like something in this room. That is like moving like the chairs. Move this shit around here. Oh, my bad. That should hurt. But anyways, if there's a spirit in here, just let me know. You know. And sometimes things this is Kaiser. Oh, man. I felt like a really heavy presence in this room right when I walked in, but I just thought I see something sitting right there. I'm sorry. My phone. That's not good. There's a lot of things happening here. Again, that door slowly opened and closed right now. If there's anything in here, just give me a sign. I'm here in peace. Okay, you can say anything. Just don't mess with my heart monitor or anything. That started to move. But it could be people up there. I just came up here. Something here, TV or something. Move anything you want. Let the people know that you're speaking to this thing. Show me your hair, presents. You could, I got a gift, and I'm not afraid. So if you decide to move anything, open that door again, I won't be frightened. What the hell? Oh. Whoa, shh. Excuse me, nurse. Oh, that's some activity. Excuse me. This thing fell. Right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just fell.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just sleeping and.
Well, that scared you, huh?
Yeah, it scared the shit.
I was worried. I thought you fell.
Oh, no.
It wasn't you. Alright.
Okay, people, that was a scary situation. I know I didn't jerk, but yeah, it's ghost activity. Oh my god. Oh, crap. Well, I got the gift, but I'm not gonna abuse it. I just asked for, little signs here and there. They showed them to me. Nothing to be alarmed about, people. Didn't feel it was evil at all. But whoa! I know you guys heard that over there. Woo! Anyways, God bless you guys. I'm not gonna entertain them anymore because I don't need my heart to go racing. God bless you guys. But anyways, I was gonna cut this video short a bit. Right when I was gonna cut it short, something else happened. But I'm waiting for it to happen again. So this right here, mind you, this is the only sliding door that's open. But this right here pulled all the way back this way. So what happened last time was I was asking it for a sign, and it pushed over this metal thing right here. I had to tell the nurse I was sleeping because I didn't want her to think I did the shit, or I just told her I don't know. I didn't know what to, make up, but this shit is, it's crazy, And all I asked is for a sign, and they gave them to me. But the thing is, I'm used to it when there are signs, But in hospitals, there's a lot of activity, and I already know I'm gonna find something, that would give me a sign or whatever. Oh, just like that. That was up there under my sweater or some shit. Okay. I know you're not welcome here, so you can go back to wherever you come from. Because I'm gonna take a nap. And this arm right here you can't do nothing with it. It hurts. So I gotta lay on my side right here. Okay, people. God bless you. Blessings. And, man, pray for me.
If you listen closely, after he says, "I'm here for peace," a faint whisper can be heard saying, "Help," and then what sounds like "knife." That detail is what unsettled viewers the most. Some speculate it could be the spirit of someone who passed away in that very room, possibly someone connected to surgery or a traumatic procedure. Hospitals are places of healing, but they're also places of loss, fear, and unfinished stories. In paranormal theory, strong emotional events can leave behind residual energy, like a recording that replays under the right conditions. Others believe this could be an intelligent haunting, meaning whatever is there is aware and responding directly to Dave, especially since the whisper appears right after he speaks. During his stay, Dave also mentioned feeling a heavy presence near the chair in the room. He said the energy felt concentrated there, like someone was sitting and watching him, but when he looked, no one was there. Of course, skeptics argue hospitals are full of ambient noise, machines humming, distant voices, equipment moving, and audio pareidolia can make random sounds seem like words. According to them, when you expect to hear something, your brain can fill in the blanks. So was it simply hospital acoustics playing tricks on the ears? Or did someone or something in that room hear him when he said he came in peace and answered back? You decide. In this next video, Andrea is walking her dog late at night when something in the distance makes her stop. At first, she thinks it's just her eyes adjusting to the dark, but then she notices shapes that don't look quite right, so she pulls out her phone and starts recording. Have a look. In the distance, 3 shadow figures appear to be standing completely still. Some believe they could simply be people standing under poor lighting, their features swallowed by the darkness. At night, depth perception becomes unreliable, streetlights can distort proportions, and shadows can merge together, making ordinary figures look unnaturally tall or solid black. But others argue something feels off. In paranormal discussions, shadow figures are often described exactly this way: human-shaped, lacking detail, and usually seen in peripheral vision. They're said to be watchers, observers, and in some reports, they appear in groups of 2 or 3. The fact that there are 3 of them standing together raises even more concern for believers. Some theories suggest that multiple figures appearing at once could indicate something more intelligent or coordinated, not residual energy, but active presence. As for danger, most accounts claim shadow entities don't always attack, but they can induce fear, paralysis, or a feeling of being targeted. And fear is something certain entities feed off. Whatever they were, one thing is clear: they weren't moving, and they were aware enough to stand there while being filmed. Until clear footage surfaces, what Andre saw that night remains a mystery. Now in this next video, a team of paranormal investigators visit an abandoned house that locals have refused to go near for years. The place has been empty for decades, and as many paranormal researchers will tell you, abandoned buildings have a way of holding onto energy. When houses are left to decay, especially ones tied to unknown histories, tragedies, or sudden departures, believers say the energy inside can become stagnant, trapped. So the team sets up their equipment: EMF readers, cameras, and most importantly, trip wires. For those unfamiliar, tripwires are extremely sensitive devices designed to trigger if something physically passes through them. Not wind, not distant vibration, but something crossing the line. As they begin asking questions, trying to provoke a response, this happens.
And see what's popping. Nope, that's not a new tripwire. That's the same tripwire that we use at the breakfast state, that I've used in other places. Okay. That door just opened up by itself. I didn't even get that far. Dude.
You went up here or either.
This door just opened up by itself. Here we go. Wait. Crazy, right? That was me. I bumped into the table here. If you heard something rattle, that was me. But that door opening up.
Quite clean.
The trip wires suddenly went nuts, and then, almost on cue, the door slowly opens by itself. Skeptics argue structural shifts could trigger the wires, but paranormal experts would say something else entirely. They believe abandoned spaces can act like containers, especially if something tragic happened there. If investigators actively try to communicate, they're essentially knocking on whatever door exists between worlds. And sometimes, something knocks back. Abandoned buildings already carry risk, unstable floors, toxic air, human squatters. But if something unseen is also moving through the halls, that's a different kind of danger. So was this structural coincidence, or did something in that house finally respond to being called out? You decide. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. Watch closely. If you pause at the right moment, you'll notice a dark figure leaning against a tree before it suddenly darts away. At first, Simone brushed it off. Maybe it was a trick of the light, maybe someone was hiding. But what unsettled her wasn't just what she saw, it was what she felt after leaving the area. Even when she had completely walked past the tree line, she couldn't shake the sensation that someone was still behind her, matching her pace. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. This time, she went in. As she steps inside the dark room, look toward the right side of the door near the end of the clip. Something shifts behind it. Simone later said that's when the idea first crossed her mind. What if whatever she saw near the tree wasn't random? What if it was watching her? A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard a voice that sounded exactly like her sister calling her name.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are considered particularly dangerous. They don't just appear, they imitate familiar voices to lure people closer. When Simone stepped inside, she noticed a chair positioned strangely in the middle of the room. Before she could even finish talking, she saw the figure again. After that encounter, she convinced herself the entity was attached to the abandoned house, not her. But that assumption didn't last long, because soon after, her own home stopped being quiet. Banging at night, footsteps when she's alone, whispers she can't trace, and an overwhelming sense of fear that comes without warning. One day, a friend visited after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like, I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
Yeah. So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment, a phenomenon where an entity fixates on a person rather than a place. And attachments, according to paranormal researchers, rarely fade on their own. It's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. Now, this strange video was posted on December 27th, 2025 by a veterinary hospital in Madison, Alabama. But what makes it even more unsettling is that the footage itself had reportedly been kept private for nearly 4 years. According to the clinic's owner, Renee, something happened that night that caused all employees on shift to stop what they were doing. Have a look.
That's weird. Where is that coming from? It don't sound like it's coming from. Okay, so you still want to do banana bags, 15 mils an hour, head of starch, 4 mils an hour. It's over this way. Alright. Medication, metronidazole, 15 mil BID, IV. Wait, is it Scarlet? Clipped off. Wait. I clipped it off before getting meds. Is somebody dropping off up there? What's coming from up there? They may have done that when they switched the bag. Is it the new bag? No. Alright, who's not gonna help me? It's in the lobby. It's coming from the lobby. No, it's not. Where is that? Is that in here? What is that? What, phantom dogs?
dog keeps yapping. Is it Dakota? No. Look at this. Look at the front porch and make sure they didn't dump one or throw one in the pen outside or something. I didn't hear anything. You're not hearing that. Three of us heard it. I didn't hear it. No. You heard it, right? I heard it. I didn't hear it. You can't hear it coming from this side. You can't hear it at ISO though, right? No. Look at that fence out there and make sure somebody throw one in the fence. I heard nothing. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, that's a brand new thing. That's fucking bizarre. Yeah. I haven't heard it. I still haven't heard it. All three of us heard it, and it was coming from that. It sounded like it was in that room or something. Like it sounded like it was like right from your board. We're gonna play that back. I didn't even hear anything. Can you play it like specifically in those rooms or anything?
After reviewing the footage, Renee says there was no logical explanation for what they witnessed. And this wasn't an isolated event. Over time, strange activity became almost routine inside the clinic. Dog kennels securely latched would open on their own in the middle of the night. Office supplies and lightweight equipment were found scattered across rooms that had been locked. Staff members reported hearing scratching sounds coming from empty runs long after the last patient had gone home. Sometimes motion sensors would trigger in rooms where no animal was being treated. For a veterinary hospital, that detail hits differently. Because this isn't just any building, it's a place filled with heightened emotion, fear, grief, relief, heartbreak. It's where some families say goodbye to beloved pets, and many pet owners will tell you that after their animal passes, they still hear the faint scratch at the door, still feel the weight at the foot of the bed, still think they see a quick shadow dart past in the hallway. Some believe animals, especially loyal ones, linger, and that's the theory whispered among staff, that perhaps some of the dogs who passed away in that clinic never fully left, that the scratching isn't imagination, and that the kennel's opening isn't mechanical failure. So what do you think? Is it residual energy, emotional imprints replaying themselves, or something else using the setting to its advantage? Renee says she doesn't know what's in her clinic, but she's no longer convinced it's empty after closing time.